Welcome back to Carmichael Auditorium. Jack Corgan along with Dan Bonner. Here are the starting lineups. First of all, at the forward spots, David Henderson getting the starting nod this afternoon. Jay Billis was hurt in the game against Clemson. He may play on some aspect of this game today, but for the most part, Duke is going to have to go with a three-guard lineup. Dan Mahar will be the natural forward with Mark Allery in the middle, Johnny Dawkins and Tommy Amaker in the backcourt for Duke. For North Carolina, they will start their three seniors, Matt Doherty and Cecil Exum at the forward spot, Sam Perkins in the middle rather than Brad Doherty as they normally have, with Steve Hale in the point guard spot and Michael Jordan at the shooting guard position. Dan, what will be the aspect that we want to look at this afternoon in terms of the strategy for Mike Krzyzewski having to go most of the game with the three guards since Billis's availability is questionable?
Get a look at Mike Krzyzewski right there. This is really a big game for Duke. The thing with not having Billis available, record against North Carolina, he has one victory over UNC. The thing about not having Billis available is that it reduces the flexibility that Krzyzewski has. He will probably go man-to-man as he usually does, and if anybody gets in foul trouble, the Blue Devils could have a problem because they have not gone that deep to their bench this year. Dean Smith, on the other hand, he now has 12 25-win seasons at North Carolina, past John Wooden in that department. Dean Smith now has more 25-win seasons than anybody else in the history of college basketball.
And we are just set to get this game underway. Duke, not a bad road club, as you see, but they've had a lot of problems at Carolina.
Not very successful at North Carolina.
And there is the record of the North Carolina seniors, the best in ACC history. Sam Perkins has been in the starting lineup for 112 of those 114 victories. Carolina with the opening tap.
Duke starts the game in the man-to-man.
Exum on the baseline. Cecil Exum, the rarely used senior, gets the first basket of the afternoon, and that sends this capacity crowd into a mild frenzy.
This is an interesting matchup here. North Carolina is going to do a lot of double teaming and trapping, and Amaker and Dawkins are both very good against that kind of pressure.
David Henderson answers for the Duke Blue Devils. Henderson had a 20-point effort against Carolina in the game at Cameron Indoor. Rebound Jordan. Ball loose on the floor and Duke controls.
Somebody better find Cecil Exum. He had the first basket and was all alone for that shot.
Mahar tried to set the pick to get Dawkins free. Mahar with the ball in the lane. Good dish off to Allery.
Great movement by the Duke Blue Devils. North Carolina is so effective in that trapping defense, and movement and good passing will beat that usual.
Exum in the corner, now to Perkins as Duke plays that tough man-to-man. Jordan around Henderson. Off the glass, no whistle, and we have got an offensive foul against Michael Jordan.
Good step in by Dan Mahar to draw the foul. Interesting matchup. David Henderson matched up against Michael Jordan. Johnny Dawkins matched up against Matt Doherty. Get a look at the last meeting there. Duke in that game was ahead by 5 with 5 minutes left to go, but Kenny Smith scored 10 points in the final 3 minutes of the game as Carolina pulled it out.
Kenny played 16 minutes against Georgia Tech, so he could see some action this afternoon for the Heels. Dawkins had to adjust his shot, get it over Perkins on the follow.
Boy, Duke looked sharp early. They're moving the ball very well against the Carolina pressure defense.
Steve Hale working against Amaker on the baseline.
Matt Doherty has a significant height advantage against Johnny Dawkins. The Carolina team went right to him on that occasion.
Allery open on the wing. Rebound, Cecil Exum for the Heels. Steve Hale quickly into the front court for Carolina. Doherty now with a big advantage as they try and work inside to Jordan. Amaker came up with a loose ball, but they say it was on the baseline. Well, they had Matt Doherty at 6'8", paired up against Johnny Dawkins at 6'2" there as you look at Mike Krzyzewski calling out the defense.
Going to get a change in the matchups now as Brad Doherty is going to come in the game. Cecil Exum is going to sit down.
What a thrill for Cecil Exum, the senior who got the starting nod in his final game. He also scores the first basket for Carolina this afternoon. There was a very emotional introduction of the three seniors, and as we mentioned at the top, Cecil broke down and was crying. It shows you how much it has meant to this young man to be a part of the Carolina basketball program. Hale will trigger in the inbound.
Duke in the zone on the out-of-bounds play.
Doherty thought about the shot on the baseline, a little closer. Rebound, Jordan, rejected from behind by Johnny Dawkins. Dawkins is only 6'2", Dan, but he gets off the floor.
Michael Jordan doesn't get too many blocks. Johnny Dawkins, as you say, came from behind, had an excellent angle, was able to slap it away.
Jordan will be the man this time to work the inbound pass.
Johnny Dawkins and Brad Doherty got into it a little bit, and they're still after one another.
The 2-3 zone off the inbound play, as Dan pointed out a moment ago. That's pretty standard for most college clubs. They're a man-to-man team. They'll move into the zone off of an inbound play in the offensive end for the opposition. Perkins is perfect.
Sam Perkins is pretty tough from that spot against the zone, particularly when the guards are as small as Duke's guards are.
Duke with good shooting here in the early going. They've hit 3 of 5. Henderson has one of the baskets, make it 2 for the sophomore from Drury, North Carolina. Again, a 4-point advantage, make it a 2-point advantage, excuse me, for Carolina. They will try and tie it up. Doherty doesn't get the basket, but he got the foul.
It's interesting, Brad Doherty got open down underneath. Mahar was trying to front him, and suddenly Mahar was out of the picture. I don't know whether Mahar tripped or he got helped by Doherty. But Doherty was wide open. David Henderson came over to help out, and that time he got a block.
Matt Doherty at the line to shoot a pair. Make that Brad Doherty, excuse me, on the year a 68% free throw shooter. Didn't get the roll on that one. There you look at the shooting percentages for North Carolina. Outstanding, to say the least. Brad Doherty gets his first point of the afternoon. Duke on top by a point. Quickly a 3-on-2 advantage, but broken up by Matt Doherty.
Tough pass by David Henderson. A bounce pass is usually recommended in that situation, but something that we've seen early. Duke doing an excellent job breaking past the first double team, and when you do that, you're going to create some good situations inside.
Dawkins and Henderson and Amaker, the 3-guard offense out front against the Carolina zone. Power move by Allery, but it wouldn't drop.
Good power step by Allery.
Carolina with a chance to take the lead. They led it 2-0. But it has been Duke on top since that point in the opening minutes. 16:20 to go here in the first half. Jordan on the move over Doherty.
Duke did a very nice job in the man-to-man defense, but Carolina worked at it, was very patient, and Michael Jordan got an excellent shot.
Dawkins trapped in the double team. Good catch by Mahar. Henderson on the baseline. 3 in a row for David Henderson.
David Henderson, Mahar, Allery are going to be able to get shots like that, and the way Duke plays in the game will depend a great deal on how well they're able to shoot the ball, because Amaker and Dawkins doing a nice job against the press.
Doherty tried to post up, but Jordan was there for the follow.
Mike Krzyzewski's up off the bench claiming that Michael Jordan pushed David Henderson.
Didn't get any sympathy for the men in the stripes.
Usually doesn't.
Henderson makes the move around Doherty and makes it 8 first-half points.
Duke has gotten a lot of easy shots early in the basketball game.
5th lead change, make it 6 as Carolina regains the lead at 13-11 on the first field goal from Brad Doherty.
Carolina hasn't exactly been shooting them from 30 either. That was a real nice play by Brad Doherty to get position inside.
Dawkins all the way to the glass. It'll count, and one more as Sam Perkins is called for the foul.
Russ Peterson checks in for
That's a
Carolina.
pretty tough foul on Sam Perkins. He got all tied up with Danny Mahar, and that's why he wasn't able to come over and give help early, and when he got there, he was late and got called for the foul.
Johnny Dawkins with 4 points here on the afternoon. The number 2 scorer in the ACC, a 1/10 of a point as you look at Buzz Peterson, who has checked into the lineup for North Carolina, replacing Michael Jordan. There you see 19.2 for Johnny Dawkins. The leader on the year is Michael Jordan with 19.3. We have got time out on the floor. Duke on top of North Carolina, 15-13. We'll be back with more right after this.
This ESPN Classic presentation is brought to you by Ford F-Series. The best-selling trucks are built Ford tough.
Our
heard this story about a group of tourists who were searching for Western heroes. Come on, baby. And they got a little off track.
We're sunk.
Luckily, their hero found them.
Guarda.
The legendary Ford F-150.
Gary Cooper. Yeah, Gary Cooper.
Looks like you could use a hand.
With an available 5.4-liter Triton V8 that delivers more pulling power than Dodge or Chevy. Now there's a happy ending. Ford F-Series, built Ford tough.
There's this thing going around called sniffing. You think you're getting high, but the dizzy, fuzzy feeling is just what happens when your brain doesn't get oxygen. The chemicals get in the way. So it's like you're not breathing. That's how sniffing causes brain damage and death. So when you think you're sniffing, your brain thinks you're drowning. And your brain is pretty much right.
Hey, Mr. Internet Wonder Boy.
What?
Over here. Over here. You think you got it all, don't you?
Well,
But there's this tiny little voice inside saying there's got to be something new, something that makes you want to stand up and say, yeah, baby, this is what I need.
yeah.
Here it is. New Pepsi One. Massive cola taste, only 1 calorie. It's got it all. And you know what it's saying to you, don't you?
No.
Put down your mouse and curl up with me, baby, because I'm all you ever need.
I want that.
You want that.
I want that.
He wants that. Now you got it all, baby.
All the taste, 1 calorie. Only one has it all.
It's hard to think of something more important to a kid than their bike. That's why State Farm, along with the help of the Good Neighbor, sponsors the Bike Rodeo, just one of the many safety programs we support throughout the country. It's where we give kids a lesson in bike safety to help make sure their bikes are in good condition and to teach kids to ride more responsibly. Because at State Farm, we want to make sure children are safe no matter where their bikes take them.
State Farm is there.
feel a certain affinity with your style of play because I do like to make up the rules as I go along.
Let's rejoin the action midway through the first half. Duke and Carolina have traded baskets. Duke leads 23-22.
Welcome back to Carmichael Auditorium. Jack Corrigan along with Dan Bonner. A 23-22 count. Duke on top. And I guess the biggest difference has been in the field goal percentages. Carolina getting more opportunities, Dan, but Duke taking a better advantage of the opportunities they have had.
The key to the game so far has been the fact that North Carolina, as they usually do, has been attacking Duke with some full court pressure, with some traps. Duke, however, has reacted very well to it. They've gotten by the initial line of the defense, so they've gotten very easy shots inside. Duke in field goal shooting is 11 of 14, and that's the key stat in the game.
Michael Jordan just 2 for 8 here in the early going. An un-Jordan-like performance for the junior.
Duke being very active in the 2-3 zone.
That's Kenny Smith wearing a leather-like brace on that injured left wrist.
Really cuts down on the mobility of his left thumb, we found out earlier.
Good pass inside to Perkins.
Duke does not play a great deal of zone, and sometimes when you don't play a lot of zone, it's difficult to guard all the mismatches that you have in a zone. That time, Hale found Perkins.
We've had 8 lead changes here in the first 9 minutes of action.
North Carolina showing a little bit more straight up man-to-man.
Amaker working against Kenny Smith, a couple of very fine-looking freshman guards. Good hustle that time by Steve Hale as he almost came up with the interception.
Great job by Kenny Smith. You could see as the ball went inside first to Mahar and then to Allery, Smith left Amaker, went down and double team, forced the pass back outside.
Good look by Mahar inside to Allery.
A very well-prepared Duke team. They're attacking North Carolina with almost surgical precision. Mahar waited for the double team, and when it was almost there, he threw the ball all the way across the court. Just an excellent play.
David Henderson will come back in for Duke in the next opportunity. Steve Hale, who has picked up 3 assists already. Now to Kenny Smith.
Duke in that 3-2 zone that they've shown on plays other than the out-of-bounds plays.
Michael Jordan on the move. Boy, good aggressive defense by Duke. Doherty inside, and a shot affected by Alarie, and Duke gets it away.
Alarie, for his size, does a great job blocking shots.
Boy, another great move by Alarie to not only get the catch, the basket, but also to draw the foul on Steve Hale.
We talked about the ability of the North Carolina big guys to run the floor. The Duke big guys run the floor very well. Mark Alarie behind the pack. Steve Hale just really with nothing to do. I think he was trying to get out of the way and committed the foul. Nice job by the Duke Blue Devils. Johnny Dawkins pushing it up, and Alarie doing a great job getting down the floor.
Mark 5 of 7 in the ball game, coming off a career best 29 points and 16 rebounds against Clemson on Wednesday.
Alarie has really come along as a player in the ACC. He's improved greatly as the year has gone on this year as he did last year. He's going to be one of the real fine performers in the league before he's through.
Duke for the second time has a 4-point lead. Perkins missed connections on the alley-oop.
Sam actually got his hand caught on the rim.
Henderson on the baseline. Good defense by Carolina as Steve Hale this time at the position.
And that's David Henderson's third foul. Mike Krzyzewski taking a bit of a chance putting him back in the game. The gamble doesn't pay off. Henderson going to penetrate to the baseline. Now, Hale doesn't need to be stopped. He just needs to have his position established, and he did. He was occupying that area before Henderson got there, and that's why the charge was called. Pretty good call.
And Jay Billis is in the ball game. Billis, who injured his shoulder in the closing moments of the Clemson game, seeing his first action of the afternoon for Duke.
Now, this is interesting. Mark Alarie comes out and is going to play the point on that 3-2 or 1-2-2 defense with Billis and Mahar playing inside.
Steve Hale left-hands it up and in for his first field goal of the afternoon. The sophomore from Jenks, Oklahoma, brings Carolina within a basket.
Carolina, here they come with the traps again. Great job by Dawkins. Didn't pick up the dribble.
Inside to Billis. He'll go to the baseline for Alarie. Rebound comes loose to Jordan. They try and run a break. What a soft baby hook by Sam Perkins.
Duke playing the 3-2 zone sort of very wide. Sam Perkins has been able to get open in the middle a couple of times.
Our fourth tie of the afternoon. Amaker, good look inside to Billis. No problem with the shoulder there when you're slamming it home.
What a pass. The Duke guard's just doing a tremendous job finding the open man. And against North Carolina, with all the different defenses and the pressure that they give you, that's not an easy task.
Jordan is thinking twice about the shot from outside, partly because Alarie's there, and also that he is 2 of 8 right now. Doherty will take it over to Alarie.
One problem that you create with having Alarie out there is he's not available for help on the defensive boards, and North Carolina has really been doing a nice job on their offensive board.
The way both clubs are shooting, though, Dan, there hadn't been too many defensive boards to be had. Interception by Steve Hale. And taken back by Amaker. What a defensive play for Duke. Dawkins. Offensive foul. The shot was rejected anyway by Matt Doherty. But Steve Hale did the job to draw the offensive foul.
Gotta look at a heck of a defensive series. Hale's trying to get in front of Dawkins. He does. Nice job. Hale gets set. Doherty comes over and blocks the shot. Nice job by Steve Hale.
We are tied at 30 with 7:58 remaining here in the first half at Carmichael. A good ball game. Stay tuned for more.
You're watching the Michael Jordan Celebration on ESPN Classic.
It's always been my way or no way, right? So when I go away, I stay at Super 8. I want it comfortable. Am I right? I want my VIP discount and friendly people. But not too friendly. Life's great at Super 8.
Welcome to the big game, rookie. Let's get it on. Come on, baby, let's go. This is my house. Now let's see what you got.
There's a tough new face in the NFL.
Is that all you got, rookie?
Now there's a new choice when you have the flu. You can take that other flu medicine with alcohol, or you could try Tylenol, a great new way to get nighttime flu relief. Introducing new Tylenol Flu Nighttime for fast, effective relief of your worst nighttime flu symptoms. And unlike that other flu medicine, it contains no alcohol. And a good night's sleep will make you feel better.
Morning.
New Tylenol Flu Nighttime. It's all the relief you need.
Now there's a steal by Bird. Underneath the DJ.
This is ESPN Classic.
30-30 with 7:50 to go here in the first half.
Now Duke goes back to the defense that they handle best, man-to-man. Dan Mahar a little over-aggressive, and that's really a tough foul for Mahar in that situation. He tends to be foul-prone, but in this game particularly, with Henderson in foul trouble, Billis a little bit hurt. If Mahar's going to foul, it's got to be down inside.
Michael Jordan was out momentarily. He comes back into the lineup. That foul on Mahar puts North Carolina into the bonus. As you look at Kenny Smith, there's a close-up of that apparatus he is wearing on his left wrist. It's a derivation of that support that pro bowlers wear. Hale misses the one-and-one opportunity, but the rebound volleyball all the way out to Jordan.
Good tap out by Brad Daugherty inside. North Carolina continues to do well on the offensive boards.
Boy, that Amaker is an aggressive player. He's given Steve Hale his money's worth out front.
Duke plays an aggressive, physical man-to-man, and they're in it right now.
On the baseline, Hale.
Nice job by Steve Hale.
Carolina regains the lead at 32-30 with 7:10 to go in the first half.
Now North Carolina drops back into the 2-3 zone, or the 1-3-1 zone, I guess. We're going to have Popson inside running the baseline, and Hale is going to be out pointing the ball.
There you see the game clock in the lower right portion of your screen as Steve Hale comes down with the Duke miss. Carolina with a chance to bump out to their biggest lead of the afternoon. Daugherty against Mahar, gets it off to Jordan finally.
Jordan and Dawkins, that's a pretty good matchup.
There's Jordan on the baseline. He got in trouble inside and threw it away.
Good defensive help by Duke. Michael Jordan got around Dawkins on the baseline. Sam Perkins comes back in the game, but Allery came over and gave good help. Jordan jumped off his feet, really had nothing to do with the ball.
6:38 remaining in the first half. David Henderson comes back in surprisingly for Mike Krzyzewski with the 3 personal fouls. A little bit of a gamble there for Coach K. Carolina remains in their zone defense. Henderson, of course, in his first 4 field goal attempts. That's part of the reason he's in the lineup. Dawkins is cut off. He goes out to Amaker. Henderson with the rebound over Daugherty. Yes.
What penetration by Johnny Dawkins. Amaker missed that jump shot, but the penetration by Dawkins drew the defense all to that area. So when Amaker missed the shot, there was nobody available to block out Henderson.
We are tied at 32. Brad Daugherty in trouble. Boy, just beat the 5-second call.
Mahar was what you call in Brad Daugherty's face. He was right up against him.
Michael Jordan against Johnny Dawkins. 15 on the shot clock. Matt Daugherty in trouble on the baseline. Boy, good defense by Duke here, but Daugherty gets around Mahar for the easy 10-footer, left it a little shy. Inside, we have got a foul on Brad Daugherty.
Brad Daugherty, Michael Jordan both going to the boards very hard. David Henderson that time had good position inside. Matt Daugherty was matched up against Mahar outside, and that's a mismatch, and Daugherty took advantage of it and penetrated around. Michael Jordan, you can see there with the tip, that body that went flying out of the screen was David Henderson, and that was the foul call.
Should apologize to all Matt Daugherty fans. No shot in basketball is easy, but when you get these guys so proficient at the game, they get that 10-footer, you expect them to make it just about every time. Like Matt pulled the string a little bit there, Dan.
Duke came and gave good defensive help, made him change the shot.
Amaker, the pass inside to Dawkins. He gets it inside to Doug McNeely.
Dawkins, what a great pass by Dawkins.
Jordan the other way. That's a foul. Johnny Dawkins was a little late getting there, and Michael Jordan took advantage of it. to drop his third field goal through the net this afternoon and a chance for a three-point play.
Jordan getting up and down the court. Dawkins coming over. You can see just he gets him just on the wrist. That's not much of a foul, but it's Johnny Dawkins' second foul, and the Duke Blue Devils really are having some foul problems.
It's the kind of foul that coaches hate. As you look at Michael Jordan, he leads the ACC in scoring by 1/10 of a point over Dawkins. Michael now with 7 points on the afternoon. Carolina regains the lead at 35-34. Dawkins is rejected, but somehow came up with the ball. What a catch, but not quite in by Alarie.
Duke did a great job getting up the court. Brad Daugherty blocked Dawkins' shot, but there were no North Carolina players back to help him out with the rebound.
Brad Daugherty inside to Perkins, and he is fouled by Doug McNeely. Duke has had a tendency much of the year to commit a large number of fouls. That was part of their problem against Clemson Wednesday night.
They play that aggressive man-to-man defense. They try to help one another out.
There's a little bit of the basketball resume of Sam Perkins. Look at some of those numbers. 58% from the field, 80% from the foul line. Of course, the all-time rebounder in Carolina basketball, and the #2 scorer.
Now you think for a minute about all the people who have ever played Division I college basketball. This guy right here is only the 40th person to ever play Division I college basketball to reach the 2,000 rebound or 2,000 point, 1,000 rebound plateau.
A little extra spin, but the ball drops through, and Sam Perkins into double figures with 10 points on the afternoon. Perkins almost with an acrobatic steal. It is saved by Jordan, but to Duke.
I can't believe Jordan got to that ball, much less got it back in bounds. Carolina didn't get it. Boy, that's some hustle by Jordan and Perkins.
Amaker misfires, and Brad Daugherty with the rebound. Too far for Michael Jordan.
Both teams in a little too much of a hurry on that particular sequence. Amaker with a tough shot. He got Jordan off his feet, but he was still off balance when he took the shot, and then as the pass went down to Jordan, it was over the wrong shoulder. Jordan couldn't catch up.
Carolina on top by 3. They've led by 3 on 3 occasions now in the first half. Dawkins inside, rejected by Perkins.
Perkins almost knocked it through the backboard.
Perkins will fire from long range. Rebound, Alarie. McNeely will bring it into the front court. Good post move by Mahar. Left it short. He was influenced by Brad Daugherty, and Perkins with the rebound. Mahar a little tired. Didn't get up off the floor as well as he can normally.
Duke's doing a lot of running up and down, and they haven't scored, and that's really tiring.
Daugherty from the corner. We're going to get a shove on Brad Daugherty as he picks up his second personal. Boy, it has been furious action from end to end. As you look at Dean Smith, he'll get an opportunity to talk to his troops because there's time out on the floor. Duke trailing Carolina 37-34.
You're watching the Michael Jordan celebration on ESPN Classic.
This ESPN Classic presentation is brought to you by Philips, technology that's making life a little better all the time.
Let's jump.
Philips CD recorder.
If it looks different, it's because it is different. Unlike Camry and Accord, front and side airbags are standard equipment. It's protected by a steel safety cage. And its warranty is not only different, it's America's best. The all-new Hyundai Sonata. It's not different for the sake of being different, but different for the sake of being better.
How many sugars do you want?
Oh, I'll take 2.
Hey, look at the little telephone.
Keep your eye on him. He'll be over every day to use it.
That's okay. Just as long as he dials 10-10-321 first.
Isn't 10-10-321 great? You should see how low my phone bill is.
And now it's better than ever. Saves 50% off calls over 10 minutes.
Right, day or night. So I save big on all my most important calls.
Like when I call my boyfriend in New York.
Right, like when you call your boyfriend in New York. Wait a minute, boyfriend? You got a boyfriend?
Rogaine Extra Strength is proven to regrow hair, or at least stop hair loss for 4 out of 5 men.
I like my chances.
So what can go wrong? Bargain brands. They're not as effective.
This is only 2% minoxidil. It's not even half as concentrated as Rogaine Extra Strength.
That's why this black box is proven to grow more hair, thicker hair, faster than bargain brands. Only Rogaine has extra strength, and it's proven to work for 4 out of 5.
By Sam Perkins. I guess that is a pretty fitting end to the ball game. Jordan, look at that! There's a steal. Takes it away from Carlisle. Bam! And the Tar Heels.
We pick up the game at the start of the second half. The Tar Heels lead 41-40.
North Carolina, the amazing stat, as quickly paced a game as this has been, only has 4.
And right on the inbound play, we get a turnover and a foul on Dan Mahar.
North Carolina doing a nice job preventing Duke from getting the ball inbounds, and what a way to start the second half, huh?
There were 44 turnovers, Dan, in the first meeting between these two teams, so both clubs doing a much better job of protecting the ball.
I have to watch Michael Jordan and see how he plays in the second half. I think for the first time all year, I've seen him play a game where he was really out of control at a lot of stages in the first half.
Sam Perkins outside. Perkins the leading scorer for Carolina in the first half with 12. Brad Daugherty gets his 12th point of the afternoon, and Carolina is out to a 3-point advantage.
Nice job by North Carolina. Good patience against the Duke man-to-man.
Boy, they beat the double team to Billis.
How did Amaker make that pass? He was double-teamed out at midcourt and threw a hook pass over top of Sam Perkins down inside to Billis. Amaker has done a great job.
Steve Hale got away from Tommy Amaker and got the ball to bounce around and fall through.
Amaker turned his head. He was watching the basketball, lost sight of Steve Hale. Hale recognizing, going right to the basket.
6 points for Steve Hale in the ball game. A 3-point Carolina lead. Dawkins might have got away with a walk. Bangs it in off the glass.
A lot of bodies inside. I think Sam Perkins is wondering what's going on.
11 points for Johnny Dawkins.
Looks like North Carolina is going to try, at least to start the second half, that trapping pressure at half court out of the man-to-man defense.
Hale inside to Perkins. Good ball movement by Carolina. Perkins with the follow.
Nobody blocked out Michael Jordan. Let's see who they give that basket to, because both Jordan and Perkins were there.
Sam Perkins will get credit for the basket. He's got 14 on the afternoon. Good give and go. Oh my, some great passing. Jordan with the foul.
Good ball movement by the Duke Blue Devils. That young man right there is not very happy with the call. Once again, Johnny Dawkins keeping his dribble as that double team comes to Allery. Geez, what nice ball movement inside. Jordan, well, he may have a point there.
Michael picks up his second personal foul. Jay Billis will go to the line. There you look at Dean Smith.
It's just real hard, Jack, to block a shot without the referee calling the foul. About 8 times out of 10, probably, the official is going to call a foul on that play because it looks like a foul.
Billis misses the second one. That is the first miss in a free throw situation for Duke. Carolina leads by a pair. We are in the first minute of the second half.
Nice job by Steve Hale, really pushing the ball up the court.
Perkins on right wing.
Mismatch now. Sam Perkins matched up against Tommy Amaker.
Jordan open for his first and second half shots up to the net.
Good on-balance jumper by Michael Jordan. He really needs to get going for North Carolina in the second half. Very under control so far.
That 4-point advantage is the biggest lead of the ball game for Carolina. Dawkins just too quick for Steve Hale.
What a move by Dawkins. Got by Hale and then glided right past Matt Daugherty to avoid the charge.
Jordan down low to Brad Daugherty. The give and go to Jordan. Got control? No. They say player control foul. Michael Jordan.
Jordan made the right move. That's now 3 fouls on Jordan. He passed the ball inside, and rather than stand outside, cut to the basket. Tough pass by Brad Daugherty, though. Jordan really wasn't open. It's a tough opportunity for Jordan, and he committed the foul.
Dawkins into the front court. Duke looking to gain a tie. And a foul called against Johnny Dawkins as Steve Hale was sent skittering along the floor. Third personal on Johnny Dawkins. And now it is Coach K, Mike Krzyzewski's turn to be upset.
Even though the score is very high, we've had a lot of points scored in the game. I think that's a credit to the offensive ability of these teams because there's some pretty good defense.
Daugherty inside, had his shot affected once, ball still loose, and finally Tommy Amaker gets it, ran into Dawkins, but maintained control of the ball. Dawkins working against Jordan, and now he'll back off.
Bad pass.
And Sam Perkins with the steal. Too far for Steve Hale, however. Steve goes up about 6 rows, visits with his mother and a few other fans who come back out and play.
Had a couple of points in the game where it has looked a little sloppy, but then the teams recover and get back after one another. That was a little bit sloppy. Amaker and Dawkins were lucky to come up with the ball and bring it up the court, but then Sam Perkins overthrew an open teammate in Steve Hale.
16:40 to go in the game. Duke looking for the tie. They get it with Allery.
It's the first time Allery's handled the ball in the second half.
That is our 10th tie of the ball game. Jordan has to adjust his shot, but gets the perfect pass to Daugherty.
What a catch by Matt Daugherty. Now, not only did he catch it, but he was able to get underneath the basket and lay it in.
Carolina again by 2. This time, Steve Hale did not beat Johnny Dawkins to the penetration point, and he is called for the foul.
Those two are really having a battle. Dawkins using great quickness, Hale trying to use floor position. Hale has to have his feet planted and be facing the dribbler. He was not facing the dribbler. When the contact occurred, his side was actually toward Dawkins.
We have now been officially informed that basket, that tip-in that we had credited to Sam Perkins did go to Michael Jordan. So Michael with 11 in the game, Perkins with 12.
Carolina in the zone after the inbounds play underneath.
Dawkins from 18, bingo. Johnny Dawkins with 15. We are tied at 51. 16 minutes to go in the game. Backdoor to Jordan. He is fouled and will get an opportunity for a 3-point play.
Nobody was back for Duke. Michael Jordan had gotten behind the pack. Dan Mahar tried to come back, but Jordan simply penetrated around him, put a lot of pressure on Billis. There you see Mahar coming back, was caught flat-footed by Jordan, and as he penetrated through the lane, he was fouled by Jay Billis.
Dan, you wondered how Michael would play the second half. Just as aggressive as ever. 13 in the ball game. Make it 14 for Michael, and a 3-point North Carolina lead, 54-51. We'll be back with more basketball right after this.
You're watching the Michael Jordan celebration on ESPN Classic.
He's open. He's open. He's open. He's wide open. Come on.
There's a tough new face in the NFL.
You're wide open out there. Great wheels, kid.
It knows 2 speeds. Stop and go. It just beat a series of the toughest stop-and-go driving tests in the world, and it's brand new. Go ahead. Guess. You have 4.3 seconds. Introducing Pennzoil with new Pure Base. Stop. Go. Pennzoil.
There's a new choice when you have the flu. Introducing Tylenol Flu Nighttime for relief of your worst nighttime flu symptoms. And unlike that other flu medicine, it contains no alcohol. New Tylenol Flu Nighttime. It's all the relief you need.
On the next Chap One-on-One.
I ran with the mindset that anybody that gets my way is going to pay.
From Heisman winner to Major League MVP, one of the greatest athletes ever, Bo Jackson. From the moments everyone remembers.
Are you impressed by what you did? As God is my witness, I never even think about that.
To the one he can't forget.
I knew something big was going to happen.
Jackson, Shaq, One-on-One. Thursday at 7:30, only on ESPN Classic.
Are you old school?
Come on, man.
Old school, like Earl the Pearl, shaking and baking.
Mark Fidrich. Bobby Orr.
Joe Louis, old school.
Old school is Paul Bear Bryant.
Mini SPV.
Like Pistol Pete.
Illy Funkster Socks.
Black socks.
Short shorts.
Definitely old school.
Old school like me, Julius Irvin.
Dr. J.
Running down like in the 70s with a big afro.
Got it going on.
I can play basketball with anybody.
Now that's old school.
Michael Jordan is retired, but not here on ESPN Classic. All this weekend, it's a Michael Jordan celebration. Relive some of his greatest games in their entirety. Michael's 82 NCAA championship game. His first NBA title against Magic's Lakers. His 89 playoff win over the Cavs. And all his slam dunk dominance. Relive some of Michael's greatest games with a Michael Jordan celebration. All this weekend, only on ESPN Classic. We move ahead to further action with 11:59 to go in the game. Behind Johnny Dawkins, the Blue Devils have cut the Tar Heel lead to 1, 56-55.
Remember to stay tuned at the end of the game. We'll be picking a Holly Farms player of the game from each school. We've got about 3 or 4 candidates from each club. 11:59 remaining. The pressure has picked up a little bit, Dan, and we have had a few more turnovers here in the second half.
First half went by, Duke with 3 turnovers, Carolina with 4. We've already had more than that in the second half. I think it's a combination not only of the pressure, but also of the fact that these guys are getting a little bit tired. They've played very hard the entire basketball game. Duke hasn't substituted that much. What a catch.
And Billis is tied up for a jump ball by Steve Hale, and the alternate possession will go to North Carolina.
Nice defensive job by Steve Hale, but now Jay Billis caught the ball in there. Dawkins threw the ball into a crowd, and Billis came out with it. Sam Perkins checks back in the basketball game. Nobody scored in a while. We've gone about 2 minutes, and nobody has scored. And that really tires you out. We said that in the first half. Running up and down constantly and not scoring any points really wears you out.
Doherty, Hale, Kenny Smith, Joe Wolf, and Sam Perkins for Carolina. Kenny Smith with the long-range jumper. The first basket of the afternoon for the freshman.
Kenny Smith, as we mentioned earlier, had a big last couple of minutes of their first game to help out Carolina.
McNeely, no rebound, Wolf. Boy, Amaker made a great pass. McNeely just couldn't get it to fall.
And it wasn't a bad shot. McNeely was inside close.
Perkins got a hand on the ball and kicked it out of bounds. It will still be Carolina's ball on the far sideline. There you see the concern on the face of Mike Krzyzewski.
He knows that his team, that is Mike Krzyzewski, there you see Dean Smith. Krzyzewski's squad has stayed in the basketball game by taking advantage of opportunities.
Steve Hale did not make a good pass to Sam Perkins. Dawkins to Amaker. And they'll reset. 11 minutes to go here in the second half. 58-55 Carolina. Dawkins from the corner. Dawkins, after hitting 4, has missed 4. Smith caught up in the air, but dishes it off to Doherty. Joe Wolf with the follow.
Last couple of times down the court, Jack, Duke has created some good shots, some good opportunities, but they've missed them, and Carolina is able to stretch out their lead to 5 points once again.
And Carmichael is as loud as they've been since the opening of the ball game.
Good pressure by North Carolina.
McNeely against Doherty. They've got to get the ball in the hands of Allery. Dawkins will take it from outside. Not a good shot.
Dawkins looks out of control the last couple of minutes. He's taken some tough shots and missed them.
And we'll get a jump ball the other end, and it'll turn over to Duke on the alternate possession. That time, Kenny Smith put Steve Hale in a bad situation.
Same thing that happened to Jay Billis down on the other end when Steve Hale tied up Billis and forced the jump ball. Pass inside into a big crowd of opponents, and Hale just couldn't handle it.
David Henderson has come back into the lineup. He has got 4 personal fouls. Buzz Peterson will come into the ball game for North Carolina, replacing Steve Hale. You mentioned that Mark Allery has not touched the ball much here in the second half, but 15 points in the first half, just 1 basket in the second half, Dan. That's something Duke is going to have to work on. They are not getting in the ball. We'll have to see if that is just Duke's offense or Carolina's defense.
Nice pass by Amaker. That's a big basket for Duke to find Billis all alone inside. I think it's a combination of both. Sam Perkins is matched up against Allery defensively for North Carolina, and he's done a good job so far in this half.
You see the clock in the lower right of your screen. We are under the 10-minute mark. Inside to Wolf as he and Mahar is pushed and shoved. The rebound, Allery, and Wolf, not a good foul.
Duke was in that defense, the 3-2 zone with Allery out on the top. That time Allery did a nice job getting down inside for the defensive rebound. Tough pass over the zone. Wolf probably could have get himself a little more set to take that shot. There's Billis come flying out of the picture and Allery getting the ball. Really a battle going on inside. It's been very physical inside.
Joe Wolf now with 3 personal fouls. Brad Daugherty will come back in at the next stop and play for Carolina.
Carolina back to the 1-3-1 zone now. Once again, they're switching defenses. Duke has to recognize.
Anderson picked up the dribble but was able to get it off to Amaker. Looking inside, they can't find anybody. Mahar on the baseline, 15 on the shot clock.
Good zone by North Carolina. The guys have their hands up and they're active.
Shot clock now under 10. Amaker on the baseline. Out to Allery. He looks up at the scoreboard. Henderson will fire the long jumper and it wow. With 5 seconds on the shot clock, David Henderson, he's got 12 in the ball game.
It's a 16-foot jump shot. Good shot for Henderson. North Carolina played well in the zone, but Duke finally wore him down.
Carolina's gone a long time with Michael Jordan on the bench with 4 personals. Smith misses the rebound, whacked off the face of Dan Mahar. I don't know if it was the ball or a hand that caught Danny in the face.
I think it was Matt Daugherty's hand. It wasn't an intentional play. Daugherty had his hand in there, but this is an extremely aggressive rebound that Mahar is going to pull down. Smith with the jump shot. Mahar is going to come into your picture from the right, pulls it down. Matt Daugherty hit the ball and knocked it into Dan Mahar's face.
Pressure on the inbound pass. It comes into Henderson. Working against Matt Daugherty. He'll get it over the timeline. Michael Jordan still on the bench for Carolina with the 4 personal fouls with 8:20 to go in the game. Henderson is on the floor with 4 personals for Duke. 60-59. Duke trying to regain the lead. Carolina trying to come up with a victory to get only the 6th unbeaten ACC regular season club. What a block from behind by Brad Daugherty.
Billis was able to get around. Billis gets around Daugherty. Daugherty standing straight up in the air. Billis recognizes and goes around him, but Brad Daugherty does a nice job keeping his body away from Jay Billis and knocking it away from behind.
Billis works around Daugherty. Good pass to Allery.
He passed that right underneath the legs of Sam Perkins. What a pass.
And Duke has regained the lead at 61-60, and that will get Michael Jordan up off the bench for Carolina. Perkins nearly triple teamed as they try and go low to him. Back door to Hale on the baseline. Now the lob to Daugherty.
Tough shot by Brad Daugherty. Stayed on balance, but Allery was right in his face.
19 lead changes in the ball game. 62-61 Carolina. 7:25 to go in the game. Offensive foul on Tommy Amaker. Mike Krzyzewski cannot believe it. He'll have some time to talk about it. We have time out on the floor. Carolina leading Duke 62-61.
The hair is big, the tube socks are high, and the action is down and dirty.
Can you dig it?
All the moves are on ESPN Classic, roller derby style.
Ouch.
Right on. The forces of good versus some bad.
Shut your mouth.
So join the pack for a crash course in old school. I'm talking roller superstar.
You said it.
Friday and Saturday late nights only on ESPN Classic. Baby, it's Dynamite.
The NCAA thanks its corporate partners who dedicate financial resources, talent, and expertise to help emphasize the vital role intercollegiate athletics plays in society and in the overall development of student athletes. The support of higher education by these outstanding corporate citizens also provides funding for NCAA youth programs and NCAA championships. The NCAA and its corporate partners, together building a better experience for our student athletes.
I've seen every card there is. Thousands of cards. Super 8's VIP card. It says, congratulations, your reservation is guaranteed, and you get 10% off. Life's great at Super 8.
There's a new choice when you have the flu. Introducing Tylenol Flu Nighttime for relief of your worst nighttime flu symptoms. And unlike that other flu medicine, it contains no alcohol. New Tylenol Flu Nighttime. It's all the relief you need.
You're watching the Michael Jordan Celebration on ESPN Classic.
7:25 remaining in the game. North Carolina with the ball and the lead.
Shot clock is going to be turned off at 4 minutes, of course, and I think with the Duke Blue Devils, the position they want to try to be in is to be ahead of North Carolina at that point in the game. North Carolina in some foul trouble. There's no doubt in my mind that they're going to go to that four corners of theirs as soon as they get the opportunity.
Michael Jordan with the ball right there has got 4 personal fouls. David Henderson with 4 for Duke. Both players on the floor right now.
Both teams with their original starting lineups in the game. Duke back in that 3-2 zone.
Ball out front comes loose to Duke.
Oh, very nearly a double dribble by David Henderson. Dean Smith and the North Carolina bench were up asking for just that call. Carolina in the man-to-man.
Danny Mahar back in the ball game. Inside, Henderson somehow got it up and in.
Good tough move by David Henderson. He had excellent position against Matt Doherty. He was able to force it up over top of him.
Duke has regained the lead with 6:25 to go in the second half. Jordan on the baseline.
Jordan has been open in that particular spot against that Duke 3-2 defense all night long. Finally got one to go down.
16 points for Michael, 9 in the second half. His first basket after sitting down for nearly 8 minutes of the second half. A bad lob pass, but it still came to a Duke player as Amaker was trying to get Dawkins on the alley-oop.
Seen some interesting plays on passes in this game.
Henderson picked up the dribble, but got it free to Dawkins. Good pass to Alarie. The block by Perkins, but the foul by Perkins.
Sam Perkins has done an outstanding defensive job against Mark Alarie. That time Alarie got behind him. Excellent pass by Johnny Dawkins. Perkins turned his head, looking at Dawkins, assuming it was a shot. He gets the foul call right there coming over the shoulder of Mark Alarie. But Perkins has really taken Alarie out of the game for the most part here in the last few minutes.
Mark Alarie with just 4 points in the second half. We should also point out the converse of that, Dan Bonner. Sam Perkins has not scored in the second half and has taken only 1 shot. Alarie is now a perfect 4 of 4 at the line. He leads all scorers with 20 points. We are tied for the umpteenth time this afternoon. I can't keep track of it. 64 all. Alarie regains the lead for the Duke Blue Devils.
North Carolina getting the ball up the court very quickly. Duke still in that 3-2 zone.
Steve Hale looking inside the alley-oop to Jordan.
You want to know why Sam Perkins doesn't have any shots in the second half? It's because Duke has been concentrating on him, trying to keep the ball away. Now that Michael Jordan's back in the game, North Carolina has found a weakness. That's 2 in a row for Michael, and that was a tremendous-looking play.
Henderson moved around Perkins, but Sam got back to cut him off. 5:05 to go in the game. Carolina by a point. Amaker forces it up, no, but is fouled by Steve Hale.
North Carolina had gone back to the 1-3-1 zone. Amaker penetrated around Hale, and I think he felt the presence of Hale and got the ball up to draw the foul.
Here is just beautiful basketball. Watch Michael Jordan. That is just perfect.
Now you might think, hey, that's a fairly easy play, but we have seen numerous attempts at alley-oops today, and the passes have not been well thrown. That was a perfect pass to Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan was 3 of 11 from the field in the first half. He is 5 for 5 in the second stanza. The freshman Tommy Amaker from Falls Church, Virginia, scores his first point as you look at the foul situation for Steve Hale. Amaker's first point of the afternoon, an important one as he knots the score at 66. And it remains at 66.
Now, unless North Carolina shoots the ball very quickly, this should be the last possession in the game where the shot clock will be on.
Jordan thought about the shot. Steve Hale gets it into Brad Doherty. Brad Doherty was 16.
The shot clock is now off. 4 minutes, 35 seconds left in the game. North Carolina goes back to the 1-3-1 zone.
Steve Hale with 9 assists this afternoon. Carolina has not missed a beat when he replaced Kenny Smith. Johnny Dawkins with 21 now in the afternoon.
Now, it'll be interesting to see what strategy North Carolina is going to employ. The game is tied. Duke is in his own defense. Shot clock is off.
It was 41-40 at intermission. The biggest lead for either club was a 5-point advantage enjoyed on 2 occasions by Carolina in the second half. David Henderson has just fouled out of the ball game with 4:03 remaining in the game.
Great job by North Carolina to recognize David Henderson playing low on that particular side of the zone. Sam Perkins went right to him, got position, the lob pass over the zone. Get an opportunity to see what we're talking about. Hale looking inside for Perkins. Now, what you can't see is Perkins getting excellent position against Henderson. Henderson just simply cannot guard Sam Perkins, so Perkins is too big, and so Henderson draws the foul.
David played another good ball game, had to step into the starting lineup because Jay Billis is at less than 100% with a shoulder problem. Jay will replace him. 14 points and 2 rebounds for the 6'5" sophomore.
It's a tough break for the Duke Blue Devils. David Henderson comes off the bench, is actually the 3rd leading scorer for the Blue Devils. Really gives them a quickness dimension that they may miss down the stretch.
Sam Perkins will be trying for his first second half points here at the foul line. Sam is 4 of 5 at the line.
Next possession will be a big one for the Duke Blue Devils. They really need to keep pace. I don't think they can afford to drop too far behind with only 4 minutes and 3 seconds left in the ball game.
Sam Perkins is the picture of concentration. He's going to be set exactly the way he wants to be for the free throws, but that time it didn't work anyway.
Good blockouts inside by Billis and Allery. There wasn't a Carolina player in the area.
So Duke will have a chance to take the lead here with 3:50 to go in the game. Billis working against Brad Doherty. Amaker against Jordan. That's a mismatch. Now he's in trouble. Dribbled his way out of it. The pass to Mahar. Hale stripped him of the ball, but I think Hale got the foul.
No, Hale did not get the foul. I think Hank Nichols is saying that it was an inadvertent whistle. Now, Mike Krzyzewski is really not happy about that. Hank Nichols going over and talking to him. It appears that Hank Nichols started to blow the whistle and changed his mind. I don't know. Mike Krzyzewski's not real pleased, but that's going to be a steal for Steve Hale and not a foul.
Well, we're going to get a timeout here in any event. 3:39 to go in the game. Carolina leading by a point, 69-68. We'll be right back.
You're watching the Michael Jordan celebration on ESPN Classic.
You look terrible.
Thanks. Late night last night?
Not like you think. Sinus pain. It kept me up all night.
Justine?
Oh, that gel mask thing?
Why don't you just take sinus medicine?
I guess at night I need something different.
Introducing Tylenol Sinus Nighttime, formulated to relieve your worst sinus pain and pressure so you can sleep.
Morning.
Well, look who's feeling better.
Found something new for my sinus pain. Got a great night's sleep, and now I'm ready for anything.
Good. Then you can get the coffee.
New Tylenol Sinus Nighttime. It's all the relief you need.
TV from Philips.
No one can get you ready for this year's Super Bowl like ESPN. And starting January 25th, catch Classic Super Bowl week on ESPN Classic. It's the one place to get a week-long look at the teams and heroes that made Super Bowl history. The Jets, Namath, Maynard, the Dolphins, Greasy, Zonka, the Cowboys, Aikman, Smith, the 49ers, Montana, Rice. It's time to get ready for the Super Bowl. Classic Super Bowl week starts January 25th only on ESPN Classic.
This ACC basketball game is being brought to you in part by Mazda, by Holly Farms, and by Boss Bakeries. 3:39 to go in the game. North Carolina on top of Duke, 69-68. Jack Corrigan along with Dan Bonner. We'll have to gauge right now, Dan, what Dean Smith is going to do. Will he move out to the four corners, try and protect Michael Jordan with the 4 personal fouls? Both clubs with 3 timeouts remaining, so not really too much of a factor in that regard.
No, it's not a factor, at least it's not at this time. Duke, 3 minutes and 39 seconds. They're down by 1 point. North Carolina has the ball. You can see Henderson is fouled out of the game. Michael Jordan with 4 fouls. Group of other guys, including Dawkins and Allery, with 3. Be interesting to see. Duke now comes out in the man-to-man defense. It looks like they're going to try to pressure the ball. This is an interesting matchup. Mahar, I don't think, really can guard Matt Doherty out at that point on the floor.
Doherty to Perkins in the corner, and yes, they have gone to the spread offense. 3:20 to go in the game.
And that's where the loss of Henderson really hurts the Duke Blue Devils. They don't have anybody to match up with Matt Doherty.
And we're going to get a 5-second call. Sam Perkins did not make enough penetration against Mark Allery.
And Dean Smith is up, and he's really mad.
And Mike Krzyzewski has called a timeout. 3:14 to go in the game. Carolina 69, Duke 68. Back after this word from Budweiser. Head guard, 6'6", Michael Jordan.
Now the big story here tonight, the story concerning Michael Jordan's physical conditions. He is suffering from flu-like symptoms.
I really felt like I was on deathbed. I've never seen him as sick.
We were worried about him being able to play.
In games where he's either been hurt or sick has been bad news for the opponent.
Isley starts his assault, gives it to Malone, pick and roll, underhand layup, good.
A fiery start for the Utah Jazz. It's the Jazz 29 and the Bulls 16. Jordan puts moves on Hornacek.
Jordan, great pass to Longley. Great pass.
The Bulls in the midst of a 13-2 run.
Here comes Jordan. Here's that aggressiveness. Pippen's on the right. Here's the pass for the layup. Missed it. And a slam by Jordan.
What a play by Michael Jordan.
It was a pivotal game, sure. But it was very grueling for me.
For the Kings, 88-85.
And the Chicago Bulls have defeated the Utah Jazz to take a 3-2 lead.
You know, I was really weak at the end. You know, and just a matter of wanting to do it. And I hung in there.
Well, tonight we had a heroic effort by Michael.
He should prove to the world again. He's the best player in the game.
The effort that he came out and gave us today was just incredible. There's nothing else to say. He's the greatest, and he's definitely the MVP in my eye.
Rogaine Extra Strength is proven to regrow hair, or at least stop hair loss for 4. So what can go wrong? Bargain brands. They're not as effective.
This is only 2% minoxidil. It's not even half as concentrated as Rogaine Extra Strength.
That's why this black box is proven to grow more hair, thicker hair, faster than bargain brands. Only Rogaine has extra strength, and it's proven to work for 4 out of 5.
Some revolutions start with a vision, some with a dream. This one starts with a call that helps countless small business owners find time to really grow their business. The call to Pitney Bowes to order the revolutionary personal post office. It makes sending mail a snap. Watch. Simply weigh, punch in the postage. It's so easy, you'll never go out for stamps again. Now there's more time for all the things that mean more business. The personal post office also refills by phone 24 hours a day and worries about correct postage history. Call now and get the personal post office postage meter, money-saving scale, and Business Builder software free for 90 days. Just think, no more waiting online. Just more time for your business, and all for about the cost of a cup of coffee a day. So call today and watch your business grow. The Personal Post Office, a business revolution made simple.
Sprint is creating a world of unlimited possibilities. A world where time and distance don't matter anymore. Call 1-800-PIN-DROP now and switch to Sprint Unlimited. You get unlimited calls every Saturday and every Sunday for 1 monthly fee. And your weekday calls are just $0.10 a minute. Anytime, anywhere. Forget about rules, limits, and borders. Because only Sprint Unlimited gives you unlimited calling every weekend, even to Canada. Join a world where weekends never end. And every weekday call is just $0.10 a minute. If you make over an hour of calls each weekend, you could save by switching to Sprint Unlimited. Call 1-800-PIN-DROP now for unlimited ways to save on long distance, including calls to Canada. And leave the past behind. Sprint ahead.
On the next Chap One-on-One.
I ran with the mindset that anybody that gets my way is going to pay.
From Heisman winner to Major League MVP, one of the greatest athletes ever, Bo Jackson. From the moments everyone remembers.
Are you impressed by what you did? As God is my witness, I never even think about that.
To the one he can't forget.
I knew something big was going to happen.
Jackson, Shaq, One-on-One. Thursday at 7:30, only on ESPN Classic. You're watching the Michael Jordan Celebration on ESPN Classic.
Welcome back to jam-packed Carmichael Auditorium. 69-68, North Carolina leading, but Duke has the basketball. And Dan Bonner, will we see Mike Krzyzewski perhaps hold the ball for the last shot? Dean Smith has got to consider that possibility.
Well, there's always that possibility. There was a recent ball game between Syracuse and Boston College at Boston College where Syracuse held the ball for the last 2 minutes and 30 seconds of the game, down 1 point and finally got one and scored. I think, though, what Mike Krzyzewski is doing is making sure that the Duke Blue Devils get down and get a good shot.
They get the inbound pass into Mahar and back to Amaker.
Here's Carolina coming with the trap again. And once again, Amaker does a tremendous job not letting himself be trapped.
Amaker working against Michael Jordan. Jordan, remember, has 4 personal fouls, so he cannot be too aggressive.
Carolina in the man-to-man defense.
Dawkins on the baseline. Offensive foul, Johnny Dawkins.
And that's the one thing that Coach Mike Krzyzewski did not want. He's not very pleased with the call, but it looked like a good call. They were trying to set up a clear out for Johnny Dawkins. He's got the side cleared for him. He's going to try to penetrate past Steve Hale. It's a tough call.
It's always the tough one to call there with both players moving on the baseline.
And here's Carolina in the 4 corners. This is why Mike Krzyzewski wanted to get a good shot down at the other end. Duke wanted to be ahead by 1 as opposed to down by 1, but they create the turnover.
The defense by Alarie, the break is almost foiled by Carolina, but Alarie did the smart job to get the ball back. 2:20 to go in the game. Carolina by a point. Alarie from 17. Rebound lost, but it comes out to Hale. Hale with a 1-on-3 holds up and gets it back out to Matt Doherty. 2:05 to go in the game.
Nice patience by Hale.
Perkins misses, but Billis for the foul.
It's a good foul by Jay Billis. That was going to be 2 points. Billis did a nice job to prevent the 3-point play as Sam Perkins was going after the dunk. Nice pass by Brad Doherty. Drew Alarie to him. Forces Billis to come over and make the play. Again, Billis does a nice job preventing the easy 2 points. Going to make Sam Perkins get it from the free throw line.
Sam, of course, an outstanding free throw shooter, nearly 86% on the year, but he has missed 2 in 7 tries this afternoon.
Duke had 2 opportunities to go up by 1 point, and North Carolina foiled both of them.
Sam Perkins playing his final game at Carmichael Auditorium. Well, you look at the Carolina bench, a couple of the youngsters perhaps trying to take a cue from this guy. What a career. The last 3 Carolina points have come at the foul line.
It's a big possession for the Duke Blue Devils now. They're down by 3 points. They almost have to score.
71-68 with 1:55. You see the clock in the lower portion of your screen.
North Carolina is actually running a diamond-in-1 defense. Hale is guarding Johnny Dawkins man-to-man. The other 4 fellas playing zone. See how Duke reacts to this.
Dawkins inside, fed it off to Mahar, forced up the shot. Billis goes up, no, but he was fouled by Brad Daugherty.
Boy, that could have been a big play if that ball goes down. Now Jay Billis is going to have to go to the line to get 2 points. Nice job by Johnny Dawkins. Despite the fact that Carolina's guarding him in a diamond-in-one situation, he was able to catch the ball, penetrate inside, draw the defense to him, and find the open man.
Jay Billis, 9 points on the afternoon, playing with an injured shoulder, 3 of 4 at the foul line.
Billis only about a 63% free throw shooter, and these are some big free throws he's got here.
It's a 2-shot opportunity. Buries the first one, 71-69. There you see Brad Daugherty, 4 personals on Brad.
And a couple of fellas from Carolina with 4 personal fouls. David Henderson is gone for the Blue Devils.
The sophomore from Rolling Hills, California, bangs the second one in, and again it is a 1-point ball game. 1:35 to go in the game. Carolina will spread it out.
Duke has good quickness, matched up against Carolina at all spots except that Mahar-Matt Daugherty matchup.
Boy, Hale almost got trapped. Did not make a great pass, but Sam Perkins was there for the play. Jordan, no. Rebound, Dawkins. And now Duke will take a timeout. We've got 71 ticks on the clock remaining. Carolina leading 71-70, but Duke has got the ball. Hang in there. We'll be right back.
Big Fights Boxing Hour gives you access to the largest boxing library in the world. Here's what you can check out in this library. Rare footage of classic fighters, the stories from outside the ring, and volumes of the greatest action in boxing history. Every week, Al Bernstein puts you ringside for classic fights you can't see anywhere else. Ali, Marciano, Leonard, Lewis, plus hard-hitting fighters every boxing fan ought to know. Big Fights Boxing Hour, Tuesday at 10, only on ESPN Classic.
Oh, great one. How much time do I have left?
You have 15 minutes.
15 minutes? 15?
Maybe 20?
What? I can't take a bath in 20 minutes. What are you talking about?
Oh, times on tapes.
There is a better way to see how much time's left on your tapes. Sony Smart File. With one wave, it automatically tells you what's on your tapes. Plus, it fast forwards to exact spots.
I'm getting another call. They just said 40 minutes for you. This is your lucky day, mister.
Sony Smart File VCRs. Now you know.
You look terrible.
Thanks. Late night last night?
Not like you think. Sinus pain. It kept me up all night.
Justine?
Oh, that gel mask thing?
Why don't you just take sinus medicine?
I guess at night I need something different.
Introducing Tylenol Sinus Nighttime, formulated to relieve your worst sinus pain and pressure so you can sleep.
Morning.
Well, look who's feeling better.
Found something new for my sinus pain. Got a great night's sleep, and now I'm ready for anything.
Good. Then you can get the coffee.
New Tylenol Sinus Nighttime. It's all the relief you need.
You're watching the Michael Jordan celebration on ESPN Classic.
Michael Jordan has come on in the second half. He's got 18 points. Sam Perkins has 15 points. A lot of real strong play in this ball game.
1:11 to go in the game. Duke has 1 timeout remaining.
Now you have the very distinct possibility that the Blue Devils may hold the ball for 1 shot in this situation. North Carolina doing a nice job coming out and attacking defensively.
And they're going to call an offensive foul on Tommy Amaker against Michael Jordan at center floor. Let's look at that one again.
North Carolina always attacking defensively. Amaker so concerned about Michael Jordan. I don't think he saw Matt Daugherty until he stepped into him. That looked like a pretty good call.
The foul on Amaker is his 3rd. A big defensive play.
Every time Duke has had the opportunity here at the end of the game to take the lead, North Carolina has forced a turnover.
Carolina is 45 seconds away from becoming only the 6th ACC club to go through the regular season unbeaten. We have not had one since 1974, the NC State Wolfpack. 30 seconds to go in the game. Perkins loses the ball to Dawkins. Dawkins has the ball stripped by Michael Jordan.
What a great defensive play by Johnny Dawkins. He steals the ball, gets down the court, but Michael Jordan is able to knock it away. Here you see Dawkins coming down the court. Jordan really straining, chasing him. Gets the ball right there just before Dawkins is able to put it up. What a great play by Johnny Dawkins, but a great layup saving play by Michael Jordan. And now it'll be Duke's ball out of bounds underneath the basket. We'll have to see if North Carolina goes to the man-to-man. It certainly looks like they are.
And as you said, Dan, no timeouts remaining, so Mark Allery has got to get this ball in. He'll lob it way outside to Dawkins, working against Michael Jordan. Dawkins down low to Mahar. Allery is open underneath. Allery puts it up. Yes, and a foul to go with it.
Boy, that is a big basket by Mark Allery. He got loose inside. Duke moved the ball around very well once again. That's something that has probably been the key to this game for the Blue Devils, their ability to move the basketball. Billis, nice bounce pass into Allery. The fake gets by both Perkins and Jordan. You get the foul call. The ball's going in the basket. Allery's got an opportunity now to give Duke a 2-point lead. This is a big, big free throw.
Mark Allery with 23 points on the afternoon. The foul went on Sam Perkins. Make it 24. And now Carolina needs a basket for a tie. 15 seconds to go here in the second half. Michael Jordan on the baseline. No, foul away from the ball.
The foul's against Brad Daugherty. I do believe they finally caught him for knocking down Danny Mahar, but that is a very good foul.
Because it at least stops the clock, and by the fact that Danny Mahar is not one of the best free throw shooters, 65% on the year. Look at the replay again.
Good shot by Steve Hale. Good shot by Hale.
Boy, if we get one more look at that, if we get a chance. Watch Brad Daugherty. He looks like one of the guys from Championship Wrestling. Watch him throw Danny Mahar to the floor. Unfortunately, there's Brad Daugherty. He is fouled out.
He fouled out of the game. That's our Holly Farms player of the game. But as we say, it's not a bad foul because Danny Mahar is only a 65% free throw shooter. North Carolina gets an opportunity to get the ball back right away with 9 seconds left. That timeout called by North Carolina. They're going to set something up now in the event that Dan Mahar misses.
And Carolina still has a timeout remaining. Let's look at it again.
Watch Brad Daugherty. This is Steve Hale is going to miss the shot from the corner. Good defensive pressure over there. Mahar with a good block out. Daugherty just throws him down.
That'd be a 2-point takedown in collegiate wrestling.
Now, it ends up being a good foul because the ball was missed. Now, had that ball gone in the basket, then it becomes a questionable foul. I don't think that Brad Daugherty was trying to foul in that situation. He was simply trying to get around for the offensive rebound. Great block out inside by Mahar.
You see the Duke players huddled around Mike Krzyzewski. And how about Dean Smith? An unbelievable coaching career here at North Carolina, national championships, ACC titles, but he has never gone through the regular season in the ACC unbeaten. It looked for a while like it was going to happen this afternoon. It still may yet happen, but
there's a lot of time left in the game, 9 seconds. Mahar really needs to make both of these free throws so Mike Krzyzewski can breathe a little easier. If Duke wins the game, it will be Duke's first win in Carmichael Auditorium since 1966.
And as you had pointed out at the start of the broadcast, Dan, Duke is 5-1 on the road this year. They may be, with the exception of Carolina. They'll tie Carolina as the best road team if they can hang on for the victory.
These are going to be some big free throws by Mahar. It's a 1-and-1.
65% free throw shooter. The junior has not scored in the game and still has not scored. Sam Perkins calls time with 7 seconds to go.
Now, Sam Perkins was fumbling around with the basketball trying to call the timeout by making the hand sign. He doesn't need to make the hand sign to call the timeout. All he needs to do is call for the timeout.
So they lost maybe one extra tick of the clock. They've got 7 seconds here in regulation.
That's plenty of time to get the ball up the court and get a good shot. It'll be interesting to see what Dean Smith sets up here. He's still got 1 timeout remaining. You've got a couple of different theories about this. If Duke is going to put some pressure on full court, if North Carolina can get the ball in past the first defensive man, maybe they'll just run the ball down the court and take the first shot available. I think if they get the ball in difficult position and Duke is back and set defensively, you may see North Carolina bring the ball into the half-court area and call the last timeout.
If you think this basketball game has been a great one, and indeed it has, wait till next weekend for the ACC tournament, that annual shootout, one of the best in college basketball at the Greensboro Coliseum, starting next Friday at 12 o'clock. Carolina will take on Clemson. Then a game at 2 p.m. at 7 o'clock. NC State will take on whomever to be decided. The fourth game will take place at 9 o'clock on Friday night. The semifinals will begin with the ACC Sports Center at 1 o'clock. The doubleheader games at 1:30 and 3:30. Then we'll wind it up on Sunday afternoon with the coverage beginning at 1 o'clock, the ACC tournament.
Have been some interesting ball games. This particular game, the last game of the season, Duke against North Carolina, right here on this floor in 1974. North Carolina was down by 8 points with 17 seconds left to go in the game. They scored 8 points in 17 seconds against Duke to send the ball game into overtime.
Kenny Smith has come back into the ball game for North Carolina. We have got Joe Wolf, Sam Perkins, Matt Doherty, Michael Jordan, and Kenny Smith. Tommy Amaker, Johnny Dawkins, Mark Allery, Dan Mahar, and Jay Billis for Duke. Doherty dribbling it all the way down the floor. Puts it up and in. And we are going to overtime.
Boy, what a basketball game.
Unbelievable. We're going to overtime.
You're watching the Michael Jordan celebration on ESPN Classic.
Clean is my business. So when I'm on the road, Super 8's my motel. Clean carpets, clean seats, clean. Clean inside and out. Life's great at Super 8.
Did you know you can get a 6-cylinder Nissan Frontier for less than the cost of a 4-cylinder Tacoma? Think about it. That's like getting 170 horsepower but only paying for 150. Or like getting 2.5 tons of towing capacity but only paying for 1 3/4 tons. Amazing how they do that. The V6 Nissan Frontier. Ranked best compact pickup in initial quality by J.D. Power and Associates.
Late night?
Sinus pain kept me up all night.
Why don't you just take sinus medicine?
At night, I need something different.
Introducing Tylenol Sinus Nighttime. Relieve your worst sinus pain and pressure so you can sleep.
Morning.
New Tylenol Sinus Nighttime. It's all the relief you need.
No one can get you ready for this year's Super Bowl like ESPN. And starting January 25th, catch Classic Super Bowl week on ESPN Classic. It's the one place to get a week-long look at the teams and heroes that made Super Bowl history. The Jets, Namath, Maynard, the Dolphins, Greasy, Zonka, the Cowboys, Aikman, Smith, the 49ers, Montana, Rice. It's time to get ready for the Super Bowl. Classic Super Bowl week starts January 25th only on ESPN Classic.
Now in the overtime, you've got Michael Jordan with 4 fouls. Brad Doherty is fouled out of the game.
The opening tap is controlled by Carolina. This is the first overtime game of the year for Carolina. This is the 3rd OT affair in the last 5 games for Duke. They are 2-0 in OT, knocking off Wake Forest and NC State in back-to-back games.
Duke has been playing close basketball games all year. 11 of their last 12 games have been decided by 5 points or fewer.
Joe Wolf misses the one in the lane, and the rebound, Jay Billis.
Duke has one more timeout to get another timeout for the overtime. North Carolina has another one also, so they've got 2. Now Duke looks like they're going to spread the floor and try to hold the ball a little while, create an easy opportunity.
Keep in mind, Johnny Dawkins has 4 personal fouls for Duke.
North Carolina in the man-to-man defense. This is a long time to hold the basketball. Duke has not looked at the basket yet. I think if Dawkins or Amaker gets an opportunity to penetrate by, we'll see them do that, but up to this time, they have not.
A little bit of a mismatch as Doherty was on Dawkins. Now they settle back down again. Joe Wolf now will come out and put a little pressure on Jay Billis.
If you're Duke, you want the ball being handled by Allery, by Amaker, and by Dawkins.
Allery working against Sam Perkins. They look for the double team. On the baseline, Amaker going to the hoop. First point of the afternoon, or make it the first basket of the afternoon for Tommy Amaker.
Great patience by the Duke Blue Devils. They spread out the floor. They waited until they had the layup, and then they cashed it in. Duke back to that 3-2 zone with Allery playing the point of it.
You saw the clock in the lower portion of your screen. Under 3:15 to go in overtime.
Jay Billis just gave Sam Perkins a shot. There's Michael Jordan with a big hoop.
Michael Jordan with 20.
Look for North Carolina, I think, to try to put a little bit more pressure on against the Blue Devils. They'll probably try to double team if they get the opportunity.
Under 3 minutes in the extra session. Long lob cross court to Jay Billis. Billis could be their outlet man on the passing because Joe Wolf has had some problems. Billis misses the 5-footer. The rebound, here comes Jordan for Carolina. 3-on-2. Jordan stripped by Amaker.
Great defensive play on both ends. Jay Billis was going for the layup, but Joe Wolf got back and made him shoot the short jumper, and then Michael Jordan was going up for the shot. Great tip away by Tommy Amaker.
2:25 to go in overtime. We are tied at 75. It was 41-40 at halftime. 73-73 at the end of regulation.
Joe Wolf is hanging back in the middle of the lane, really letting Jay Billis catch the ball outside. Here's the double team.
They get it off to Dawkins. 2:05 to go in overtime.
Duke should really try to stay away from the sidelines because I think that's where Carolina is going to look to come with the double team.
Perkins has to come way outside on Alarie, and there's Billis. Dribbles away from Perkins. We are under 2 minutes. 1:50 to go in overtime. Ball knocked out of bounds by Sam Perkins.
North Carolina with the timeout.
We will get a timeout with 1:47 remaining here in overtime. We are still deadlocked. Carolina Duke at 75-all. Back with more right after this.
This ESPN Classic presentation is brought to you by Subaru. Hungry for adventure? Take a taste test in a new all-wheel drive Subaru today.
Nasty storm. Wet road. Looks pretty bad, huh? No problem. That's the beauty of Subaru all-wheel drive, the ultimate safety feature. Thanks, kid. See, it automatically transfers power from the wheels that slip to the wheels that grip. And only Subaru puts it on every car they make. And that's no accident. Subaru, the beauty of all-wheel drive.
Rogaine Extra Strength is proven to regrow hair, or at least stop hair loss for 4 out of 5 men.
I like my chances.
So what can go wrong? Bargain brands. They're not as effective.
This is only 2% minoxidil. It's not even half as concentrated as Rogaine Extra Strength.
That's why this black box is proven to grow more hair, thicker hair, faster than Bargain brands. Only Rogaine has extra strength, and it's proven to work for 4 out of 5.
You're watching the Michael Jordan Celebration on ESPN Classic.
75-75, 1:47 remaining in overtime. Let's take a look at the great defensive play by Tommy Amaker.
Possibly the biggest defensive play of the game. Michael Jordan has shot written all over his face, takes the ball in strong. Amaker stripped it away. Great defensive play by Tommy Amaker. Now, North Carolina called the timeout. That was not a Duke timeout, and I think maybe what Dean Smith did was change what he wanted to do defensively, give Duke something different to look at. That dead ball created by Sam Perkins tipping the ball away created the opportunity for Dean to change his scheme. And here you can see we've got the strong double team.
Boy, Mahar got himself in trouble, and Amaker loses the ball to Steve Wolf. Wolf trying to dribble it, and it comes to Dawkins. Boy, the Carolina bench is going berserk.
I thought Hale had the ball, but he fell down. Now there's an over and back. That's an over and back.
Not a good pass by Johnny Dawkins.
Boy, I'll tell you what, Johnny Dawkins and Tommy Amaker have done so well this entire basketball game against the North Carolina pressure. The last 2 times, Amaker almost got it stolen by Hale, and then Dawkins threw the bad pass in the backcourt. The North Carolina pressure, I guess, just eventually gets to you. Now, North Carolina's going to spread it out in the 4 corners. They're going to look for the easy shot.
There you see the clock. Under 1:20 to go here in overtime. We are tied at 75. Each club with a basket in the extra session. Kenny Smith down the lane. Jordan on the drive. Second basket in OT for Michael Jordan.
Well, now that's obviously the opportunity they wanted to create. North Carolina dropping back. Looks like they're going to go back into the zone defense.
That was the 25th lead change of this basketball game.
Johnny Dawkins looking over at the bench for instructions.
Inside to Alarie, and they say Sam Perkins shoved him.
Boy, Alarie's going to go to the line with 45 seconds left for a pretty big 1-on-1 opportunity.
Watch it again.
Alarie really wants the ball inside. What a great catch. It was actually a bad pass. Alarie turning to the basket, gets fouled by Sam Perkins from behind. Looked like they could have called it on Matt Doherty as well. These are some big free throws for Mark Alarie.
24 points in the ball game for Mark Alarie. 6 of 6 at the foul line. Doug McNeely has come into the ball game now for defensive purposes. They'll put Danny Mahar down.
McNeely's in the game. If Valerie misses the free throws, Duke is going to need the defense. If Valerie makes the free throws, then they're going to drop back in the zone anyhow.
A 1-and-1. The first one is perfect.
I think Duke is anticipating that North Carolina is probably going to call a timeout to set up the last shot, and when they do, then Duke can get Mahar back in the game.
Big free throw for Mark Galloway. He got them both.
Boy, that's shooting some free throws under pressure.
That is the 16th tie of this ball game.
North Carolina going to set up the four corners.
Kenny Smith almost lost the ball, gets it into Perkins.
They'll need to set up the last shot of the game. Nice penetration by Kenny Smith. You can see how valuable he is for the North Carolina Tar Heels. Hasn't played much the whole game, but down here in the crunch, he's in there.
17 points for Sam Perkins. Would that be just a poetic justice if he scores the game winner? Dawkins from way outside. Rebound, Billis. 10 seconds to go in the OT. Dawkins.
What a shot! What a shot! How did he get that in the basket? 5 seconds.
And we've got a timeout called by Carolina with 4 seconds to go in the game. In the first overtime, I should say.
That's true. We don't know how long we're going to be here.
We will be back for the frantic final seconds. 79-79. We'll be right back.
You're watching the Michael Jordan celebration on ESPN Classic.
Going for a run.
Better take a jacket, it might snow.
Good idea.
What the? Hey, put that down.
Whoa.
Now there's a new choice when you have the flu. You can take that other flu medicine with alcohol, or you could try Tylenol, a great new way to get nighttime flu relief. Introducing new Tylenol Flu Nighttime for fast, effective relief of your worst nighttime flu symptoms. And unlike that other flu medicine, it contains no alcohol, and a good night's sleep will make you feel better.
Morning.
New Tylenol Flu Nighttime. It's all the relief you need.
ESPN Classic presents This Day in Classic Sports, January 15th, 1967, the Purple and Gold Bowl. After this.
The hair is big, the tube socks are high, and the action is down and dirty.
Can you dig it?
All the moves are on ESPN Classic, roller derby style.
Ouch.
Right on. The forces of good versus some bad.
Shut your mouth.
So join the pack for a crash course in old school. I'm talking roller superstar.
You said it.
Friday and Saturday late nights only on ESPN Classic. Baby, it's Dynamite.
January 15th, 1967, the NFL Green Bay Packers win the first ever Super Bowl, whipping the AFL Kansas City Chiefs 35-10. The lead was only 14-10 at the half, but quarterback Bart Starr and coach Vince Lombardi's legendary Green Bay defense dominated after that. Another classic day on ESPN Classic.
Are you old school? Old school, like Earl the Pearl, shaking and baking.
Mark Fidrich.
Bobby Orr. Joe Lewis, old school.
Old school is Paul Bear Bryant.
Mini SPV.
Like Pistol Pete.
Illy Funkster socks.
Black socks.
Short shorts.
Definitely old school.
Old school like me, Julius Irvin.
Dr. J.
Running down in like in the 70s with a big afro.
Got it going on.
I can play basketball with anybody.
Now that's old school.
You're watching the Michael Jordan celebration on ESPN Classic.
Welcome back to Carmichael Auditorium. Here's the shot that has regained the tie for the Duke Blue Devils. First the miss by Dawkins.
Billis doing an excellent job getting the rebound. It was a long rebound, and now you're going to see Dawkins with just a circus move inside. He was almost back down on the floor, penetrating inside the defense. North Carolina called a timeout right at midcourt. 4 seconds left in the basketball game. Mike Krzyzewski has had a chance to set his defensive strategy. Dean Smith has had a chance to set his offensive strategy, and you better believe that guy we just saw in the picture is going to be part of it. Duke with 1 timeout left, North Carolina with 1 timeout left.
4 seconds remaining. Jordan has 4 of the 6 points in overtime for Carolina. Sam Perkins with the other basket. There's Jordan from 20. No, and we're going to go to double overtime.
Michael Jordan actually had lost control of the basketball. That's obviously the play that North Carolina wanted to run. Michael Jordan had an opportunity with another couple dribbles to get closer to the basket, but he didn't have time to do it.
Good pressure by the Duke defense. It was a late throw into Jordan.
Now here's Jordan, but he sort of fumbles the ball right there. And he's a little bit off balance as he goes up to shoot. Gets a good shot off under decent pressure by Johnny Dawkins. The ball hits the side of the board. Not any time for a rebound. There wasn't any opportunity for a rebound.
You see the clock in the lower right-hand corner. As a kick to the floor with 1 second left. Maybe Steve Hale would have had a chance if the ball would have hit him as he was moving by, but
well, the ball's got to hit the rim in a situation like that, and what Dean Smith did by bringing Michael Jordan over to the corner was clear out the side down there. He had a good mismatch for the offensive rebound. Joe Wolf was down in there battling Doug McNeely, and I think had the ball hit the rim, North Carolina was in pretty good position, but Jordan fumbling the ball as he tried to stop his dribble and get set for the shot, threw the shot off so it hit the side of the board.
To show you how well balanced the Atlantic Coast Conference is this year, Dan, I got to believe that just about Carolina's been the only club in the conference that has not had more than one overtime game this year. It seems like every time you turn around, it's another extra session affair in the ACC this season.
The interesting thing about this game, it's been a great game, but we were saying in the middle of the second half how tired the players must be. They've got to be even more tired now. You just saw Mike Krzyzewski wipe his brow. He looks like he's been working pretty hard this evening as well.
There's Dean Smith. Now number 4 lifetime winning percentage among college coaches behind Claire B., Adolph Rupp, and John Wooden. This year, Dean passed 3 coaches, including the legendary Phog Allen. He has won 77% of the games he has coached at Carolina.
Boy, nice job by Doug McNeely to not go into the backcourt.
Amaker working against Hale in the lane, forces the shot. The ball, you can see they're tired. That ball off the rim came to the floor.
That was a real tough shot. I think Amaker didn't realize that he was in there against that much defensive pressure.
Jordan looking inside, kicks it to Hale. Now to Perkins down low. And
well, Tommy Amaker and Mark Allery think it's Duke's ball, but John Clockerty saw it differently.
John hesitated a little bit, and Mr. Allery and Mr. Amaker doing a little bit of negotiating, but
you know, there are 3 other fellas out there that have to be a little tired. It's tough on the officials.
The alley-oop for Jordan, it goes, and the foul. He actually mishandled the catch.
It was not a real good alley-oop pass. Jordan had a tough time catching the ball, but I believe they're going to get Amaker for running into him. Here's the pass by Hale. Now it's Billis trying to get up there and get it.
Jay Billis with his 3rd personal. You'll watch it again.
You know, Michael Jordan, I don't think he jumps, he flies. My goodness.
I have to apologize. I said he mishandled the catch. Actually, he adjusted to it.
It was not a very good alley-oop pass. He, instead of trying to catch it and dunk it down, he actually tipped it in. Now Dean Smith's yelling out some defensive instructions. This is the first 3-point lead that either of these teams have had in the overtime sessions.
4:15 to go in the second OT.
Big possession for Duke.
Dawkins against Steve Hale. That's Billis double team. Dawkins from way outside. Yes.
What a big basket. Johnny Dawkins has made a couple of big shots.
25 points for Johnny Dawkins. 25 points for Michael Jordan, and Mark Allery with 26 to lead all scorers. Doherty against McNeely all the way to the glass. Perkins in the follow.
What a big rebound. I think he dribbled him on the foul. No, he's getting a foul against McNeely.
Doug McNeely called for the foul, his 3rd. Let's look at it again.
Awfully tough shot by Matt Doherty. Pretty good help by Mark Allery. There Perkins with 1 tip, tips it across the board, gets the rebound. The foul called right there on Doug McNeely.
McNeely will sit down. Dan Mahar will come back in. Sam Perkins with 17 points will go to the foul line. Sam is 7 of 9, making 8 of 10 at the line. John Madry with all the numbers again. 18 points for Sam.
What a big rebound by Perkins. North Carolina did a very good job in the first half on the offensive boards, and they've done a nice job here in the overtime sessions on the offensive boards.
Important free throw for senior Sam Perkins.
Michael Jordan is dancing around down in there like a swimmer ready to dive.
The last 3 points have come at the line for Carolina. That's the difference in the game. 3:35 just about right now in overtime.
Michael Jordan is a very dangerous defender in a situation like this because he's got the license to go out for the steal, so Amaker's got to be aware if Jordan leaves him.
Allery on the baseline, over Wolf, around and in.
Boy, tough shot by Allery. We have seen some clutch basketball shooting in this game, I'll tell you what.
84-83, Jordan around Dawkins. Throws it back outside. Dawkins was trying to get the offensive foul.
Dawkins asking for the offensive foul. That's a pretty good matchup, Dawkins and Jordan.
Keep in mind that Dawkins and Jordan both have 4 personal fouls.
Very dangerous pass by Matt Doherty.
Steve Hale against Amaker inside to Perkins over.
Mentioned earlier that Sam Perkins, there was a point in the second half where he hadn't scored and had only taken 1 shot. Comes down to the end and they're going to Sam and he's producing.
Sam has got 6 points in the overtime. Dawkins from outside, no. Mahar keeps the rebound alive, but Perkins comes away with it.
Guess who?
Sam Perkins.
Rebound, couple of big free throws, big basket. Now he pulls down a big defensive board.
4 points in this second extra session for Perkins. Doherty, the other senior, out on the floor. Jordan brings it back outside. 2:10 to go in the overtime. Perkins on the road.
What a pass by Michael Jordan. And now Sam Perkins and Jay Billis jawing at one another. Don't know what that was all about, but Sam Perkins has scored 6 points in a row. Great pass by Jordan.
Amaker walks with the basketball. Good call. They are going crazy here in Carmichael. 1:56 remaining in the second overtime. Carolina to a 5-point advantage. We'll be back right after this.
Think it's easy to imitate those classic NFL films? ESPN Classic presents NFL Night at the Classics. 2 hours of genuine NFL film. Wednesday today, only on ESPN Classic. NFL films, definitely old school.
We deliver great quality, time after time.
Same with Super 8.
Every room is comfortable. And roomy.
Super 8.
Super 8. Life's great at Super 8.
Gosh, you know, I just went to use the phone.
You say once you got back, your wife was gone.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
What?
Have you checked the hot enchilada?
Oh, no. Millicent gets terrible heartburn.
Not this time.
What's that?
Looks like the remains of an individually wrapped Pepsid AC chewable.
Introducing Pepsid AC Chewables, the first chewable to stop heartburn before it starts.
Millicent? Is that you?
Start living heartburn-free with new Pepsid AC Chewables.
Some folks think my Subaru Outback here is just for exotic adventures. Truth is, it's good for the everyday stuff too. You know, like running down to the store, picking up the mail. The secret, full-time all-wheel drive. Something you just won't find in a Cherokee or a Blazer. Comes in handy when you're, say, late for a hair appointment.
Right with you, mate.
Well, you know why I wear a hat.
You're watching the Michael Jordan Celebration on ESPN Classic.
88-83, 1:56 to go in the game. If this guy is the player of the year, the guy at the other end should also be player of the year.
You have 2 All-Americans making a big play, giving Duke a 5-point lead. Now Perkins is going to come down. He runs into Jay Billis. Now look right here. This is a guy who's been accused of not being aggressive enough in his career at North Carolina. Certainly he and Jay Billis both appeared to be aggressive right there.
23 points in the game. Smith almost had problems getting that ball in.
Duke's got to get the ball right away. There's still time. There's 1 minute 50 seconds left in the game. Here we have this matchup again that Duke just is having a tough time with.
Give and go. Jordan will back it outside again. Duke will have to start fouling pretty soon, but it really cannot be Dawkins because he's got the 4 personals. They probably should put Kenny Smith on the line, although they are all good free throw shooters out there for Carolina. Smith lost the ball but managed to swat it over to Jordan. Jordan in trouble. He is fouled by Amaker.
Got a chance to see some excellent ball handling by the University of North Carolina. Duke players are very tired. These guys have been out there a long time playing very hard. Just could not put the kind of pressure on North Carolina that they needed to take the ball. Now Michael Jordan and Tommy Amaker shake hands.
Duke will see Steve Hale come back into the lineup for Carolina as the defensive replacement. Kenny Smith, who did the job ball handling, returns to the Carolina bench. 25 points from Michael Jordan, was 3 for 11 from the field in the first half. The 6'5" junior from Wilmington, North Carolina. 89-83. All the points in overtime for Carolina have been scored by Perkins and Jordan.
They are really some kind of basketball players, showing their mettle in the second overtime of a real tough basketball game.
Amaker's pass almost stolen by Hale. Now the pass is thrown away.
You know, Jack, a lot of teams will get down to a situation like this. They'll go back in the zone and they'll play passively, but North Carolina is always attacking on defense. What an active zone they played. Caused the turnover by Duke. Duke has come apart at the seams a little bit the last couple of possessions.
And a foul is called on Doug McNeely against Matt Doherty. And that's pretty fair at the foul line.
You're not going to find very many guys out there for Carolina who are not pretty fair at the foul line. The team shoots 79%.
This will be Matt Doherty's first trip to the line. He is a 78% free throw shooter. It'll be a 1-and-1. He's got 10 points in the ball game. He also playing his final basketball game here at Carmichael.
He's had a great game as well.
Matt Doherty going into this game, along with Walter Davis, is the only player in ACC history to score 1,000 points, get 400 rebounds, and 400 assists in a career. That's not too bad. Misses the second one, but a very tired Mark Allery couldn't control the rebound.
Allery just couldn't control the ball. I think it's all over for Duke. He's complaining that he was pushed from behind. Bennett, in the second half, you heard very little from Sam Perkins and Michael Jordan. Brad Doherty did a nice job early in the game, had 10 early points, had 6 big points to keep North Carolina in the game when Michael Jordan was out. And for that, we gave Brad Doherty our Player of the Game award. But Michael Jordan and Sam Perkins have taken over in the overtime and are leading North Carolina to what seems to be a win.
Carolina is 62 seconds away from being team number 6 in terms of an undefeated ACC campaign, and it would be the first in the 23-year career of Dean Smith at North Carolina. And you know the players want this one for Coach Smith.
Well, I think so. The thing that's the most impressive statistic about North Carolina possibly being 14-0 is how strong the league is. They've done this as Kenny Smith makes the first free throw to build a 9-point lead. Game's not going to look like a close game, but it's been much closer than the 9 points up there now. Everybody said the league was balanced, and it's the most balanced league in a long, long time, and yet North Carolina can still go through undefeated. Just a great effort by a great team.
And with that 10-point advantage, you see Steve Hale back in the ball game. Carolina will ease up on the pressure a little bit. Steve Hale started to come off the floor. They'll pack it back in. Dawkins on the run. Jordan rejects him.
Michael Jordan, after sitting down and playing a little bit out of control in the first half, sitting down for large portions of the second half, is really into the basketball game now.
Big smile on Michael's face. The ball is lost out of bounds, but they say it went off of Joe Wolf. I'll tell you what, the rest of the world better be ready this summer in Los Angeles when Michael Jordan and undoubtedly Sam Perkins as well show the rest of the Olympic teams how you play Carolina basketball.
What a great effort by the Duke Blue Devils. Young team coming in, playing very aggressively on offense, taking the game to North Carolina. Get a foul there on Doug McNeely. You have to remember that North Carolina had to score at the buzzer to send the game into overtime. Duke did a fine job. Mike Krzyzewski really had his team ready. They handled the North Carolina pressure well. Just played an outstanding game.
Duke has taken a timeout. There is 10 seconds or 40 seconds to go here in the second OT.
You're watching the Michael Jordan celebration on ESPN Classic.
Remember coming down the stairs of a morning, the smell of your mama's home-baked cinnamon rolls wafting out of the kitchen, and then walking right...
Please, my mother was an investment banker.
Well, check out Fresh Baked Cinny Minis at Burger King. They're the heart of the cinnamon roll that you dip into creamy frosting. Right now, they're just 99 cents.
I gotta tell Mom about these as soon as she gets back from Tokyo.
Bite-sized Cinny Minis. When you have it your way, it just tastes better.
My job is to compare products. And it's not often that I'm surprised. So when Head & Shoulders went up against the leading prescription brand, I expected the prescription to be better, but it isn't. A study proves Head & Shoulders is effective against dandruff. I found out there's a microscopic fungus associated with dandruff, and Head & Shoulders helps kill it. Helps stop flakes before they even start. Not even the expensive prescription works better. You may never see flakes again. I don't.
This is ESPN Classic.
One of the all-time greats in North Carolina basketball history. There's another page of a glittering resume. Sam Perkins, what a job in the overtime. 6 points in OT, 23 for the ball game. His classmate Matt Doherty at the foul line just hits his 12th point as he too closes out an illustrious Carolina career. Sam Perkins, unbelievable that some people say he is not aggressive enough.
How can you criticize a guy like that? My goodness.
Dawkins with the ball after the Doherty miss. In and out. Allery swats the ball to Mahar, who saves it to Amaker. And we got an offensive foul. Steve Hale, for about the 5th or 6th time, has drawn the player control foul.
Now the seniors are going to come out of the ball game.
There goes Sam Perkins and Matt Doherty.
Dean Smith giving the opportunity for the crowd to recognize his seniors. Big hug there for Sam Perkins and Doherty.
Look at the smile on the face of Matt Doherty. .30 seconds to go in the game. Incidentally, that foul was the 5th on Tommy Amaker. There's Cecil Exum. We can't forget him. Great thing about basketball programs, it's not just 5 players. You got to go 1 through 12 to 15, because the guys during the week also have to contribute. And Cecil Exum has made that his major contribution to this Carolina success.
Carolina players very happy now. Of course, they realize that this isn't their last game. They hope they've got a lot more coming up.
Kenny Smith outside. Steve Hale is rejected by the Duke defense.
Got to give Duke some credit. They haven't quit. They've got no chance in the game, but they're still playing aggressive defensively. Billis, Allery, Dawkins, Mahar, they really look tired. Richard Ford in the game for Duke.
The Matt Doherty basket with 1 second remaining in regulation got Carolina into overtime. It took them 2 overtime sessions, but Joe Wolf with the final icing on the cake. It is all over. The North Carolina Tar Heels, for the first time in 10 years, a club in the ACC has gone through the season unbeaten. What a finale.
For Michael Jordan and the Tar Heels, their celebration was short-lived. 1 week later, Duke avenged their loss with a 2-point victory in the semifinals of the ACC tournament. After advancing to the round of 16 in the NCAAs, Jordan's college career would be cut short in an upset by Bobby Knight's Indiana Hoosiers.
the free throw line. Jordan with a jam.
This is ESPN Classic.